If COVID never happened, what all would have you done in on past for months? Honestly, I'd probably just find something else to complain about. Yeah, I thought I was lonely before this whole thing started, but now I realize I didn't know shit. I would have some of the vision that I lost. Because I spent months trying to find a neuro-ophthalmologist that would see me after I started going blind. That would be cool. But now I get to learn some interesting new skills like find a new career that can be done when legally blind and don't walk into things that you can't see. It's an adventure. I would have had to work only 40 hours a week instead of the 70 that I have. The stupid clients assume that since people are at home and under the fear of losing their jobs, we can overwork them to insanity. I would have gotten my tooth surgery done and over with. Similarly, I may have gotten to see a GI doctor instead of 3 ER visits where I felt like I was dying. Was supposed to go to Burning Cat. Using the vacation for my dad's funeral instead. I hate 2020. I buried my dad with my free summer this year as well. If you want to talk, you can DM me. Edit. It looks like a lot of us are dealing with similar losses this summer. I want to tell you all that we're going to make it. That it's okay to cry. And that I wish you all the closure and peace you need right now. Take my Vietnamese girlfriend to Vietnam for 2 weeks. She hasn't been there since she was 5 years old, and proposed to her. Thanks COVID. P.S. I proposed here in the States anyway. She said yes. My friend was supposed to go with his wife to see her entire family in Colombia since she hadn't been back since before they were married over a year ago. Feel bad for them honestly. I would have got married today. Here I can do the vows for you. Do you take your significant other to be your lawfully wedded husband/wife? Would have kept my job. Gotten a raise. A sizable bonus. Moved out of my parents' house. And ultimately taken my plunge into independence. Edit. To whichever kind soul gave me platinum. Thank you, it's my first ever award. Now how can I spend this on weed? I just graduated college in May with a degree that relates to business within the entertainment industry. I had to move back home with my parents in another state just because the jobs weren't in the city I was in all of the sudden. It really sucks. I've applied to what I can just about every day. But the jobs just aren't there. I was ready to move on with my life and really be an adult. Have a job. Get married. Have a dog in the backyard. All that jazz. But now it's on hold while I go back to sharing a bathroom with my siblings like in elementary school. It really sucks. I've applied to what I can just about every day, but the jobs just aren't there. I was ready to move on with my life and really be an adult, have a job, get married, have a dog in the backyard, all that jazz, but now it's on hold while I go back to sharing a bathroom with my siblings like in elementary school. I wouldn't have gotten a full-time job at my internship after graduating. But they lost too much money during COVID to justify hiring me. Edit. Jesus Christmas. This comment did well. Thanks to everyone for sharing your stories. I got a job after graduating, but not everyone is as lucky. Same boat here. A permanent position was all but guaranteed before COVID-related hiring freeze kicked in. I was really fortunate though. Followed up on an email from a recruiter and ended up in a much better place. Both financially and career-wise. I hope things turn around for you before long. What was your field of study? Quite honestly, nothing. I'd still be working and saving all the money I can. I guess if there was one thing that would have changed is that my small business wouldn't have been forced to shut down. But come Monday I'm back open. Close bracket. The only difference is that we play D&D over Roll20/Discord instead of in person. I miss those days when it didn't make much difference. I moved to New York City in February, a few weeks before the lockdown started. I had a whole binder of things I wanted to see and do and a job I was excited about. But I got laid off as soon as things got started and everything I wanted to do became impossible. And some of it is probably never coming back. I would have been taking the train to every station, catching impromptu shows, hunting down the best open mics, trying to pin down the best pizza and burger, putting together a D&D group, and traveling to other parts of the northeastern US that I've always wanted to see. I had big plans for this year, and I'm so heartbroken that all I've experienced is an endless chorus of sirens. I would not be alive. I was planning to commit suicide. I would have been dead before the lockdown. But when everything shut down, I had met someone and I immediately felt comfortable around them. And I was able to vent and release years of bottled up emotions. And she helped me work through things one at a time, which started giving me hope that maybe I'm worth something. Edit. Wow, I did not know replies can get this overwhelming. There are so many. Thank you all for the kind words. I don't have many positives, so this helps. I would have continued working 60+ hours a week at a job I hate, getting paid a pittance, instead of focusing on what makes me happy. I've taken that time to write my first novel. I'm a month away from completing my first draft. I was supposed to go to Paris and Amsterdam in mid-March. That got cancelled. I took sketch 101 and 201 at UCB in fall and winter. I probably would have signed up for 301. A few of my friends' birthdays have passed. We probably would have done day trips or gone away for the weekend for those. Oh. And I would have been working this whole time instead of collecting unemployment. I'm supposed to be taking improv at IO in Chicago. Now the whole theater is closed. It's especially sad because I was finally making adult friends in that class. I graduated college in 2019. So I no longer live near most of my close friends. We were staying in touch a little bit at the beginning of quarantine, but it's kind of fizzled out. About the same thing, except I would have had my mom to joke around with. Now I joke to myself while her urn sits on a shelf in the living room corner. I wouldn't have gotten to go through my senior year of high school with her being there by my side in a literal sense. I would have no money at all. But no amount of money Social Security can give me will ever be worth losing my mom at 17. I feel awful about those who are younger than me that are going through the same situation as me. Hey dude. I lost my dad to COVID. If he was alive he would have seen me graduate university. I don't know you, but you're doing great. Would have gone to a taping of American Ninja Warrior. Gone ziplining in Indiana. Traveled to Iceland. So sorry. Iceland is amazing. One of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Maybe you can postpone it to winter. Not sure where you're from. But Iceland allows tourists at the moment and they test you at the airport. Only risk is if you test positive they'll put you in isolation. But it's definitely possible to go there. And winter in Iceland is amazing. Northern lights if you're lucky. Icebergs. Frozen waterfalls. Breathtaking landscapes and black beaches and incredibly nice people. Love it there. So heads up. I will have hopefully passed my driving test. I failed it in March and weeks later COVID hit the UK. Haven't driven since. I'm not even sure I remember how to drive. I was planning to learn to drive this year too. I might not start lessons until next year now. This has made me even more determined to learn. My partner of 15 years and I decided to get officially married. Have a big party and everything. Everything's supposed to happen October this year. Then COVID hit. We were bummed for a while but relieved that so far COVID didn't affect our families. Then we decided to call it off and spend the money on buying a house. That we would do in the near future anyway. We have just signed the papers today. We are so happy. Now honestly, we always wanted something small and intimate but family would always push for a big party. So we delayed it forever. Now we have the perfect excuse to go with an elopement wedding sometime this year just for the two of us and save all this money to get us a spa at home or something IA. Close bracket. Before COVID hit, I accepted a job across the country being a rock climbing instructor for a Boy Scout camp. I put in my notice. Moved in with my BF's family for the few weeks leading up to moving to the camp. Everything fell through. Lost the old job and the new one never started. Moved out of the house I was renting. Drained my savings in the move and subsequent months. Now I've started IT courses online, realized I love tech and fixing tech, lost 20 pounds. And my BF and I are planning to start living on the road full time, RV life. Life has never gone the way I planned. Not once. But I'm kind of happy with what I'm aiming for now. I beat cancer last year. This was supposed to be my FCK cancer travel year before going back to work. In April I was taking my dad to Iceland with me for a nerd convention. After that, I was going to take our 4x4 truck and spend 3 or more on the road, visiting national parks, museums, sightseeing, camping. I just some West Coast in February to mid-March. I've stayed home since mid-March. Obligatory award edit. Holy beans, my first silver. Thank you kind sir ma'am. COVID caused me to pick up golf and I found not only a hidden talent but a hidden love. Trips to California, Bali and Spain. I'd have woken up on my birthday in Yosemite National Park and gone to sleep in Napa Valley. I frickin' hate COVID. I thought the 12 months previous to March were shit. Prior to COVID, I quit my stressful, go nowhere job and moved to wine country. I study enology and viticulture. Do Zoom tastings and sensory analysis with amazing food and wine. No complaints. I buy so much nice wine now. Even with 35% discounts. I can't no longer afford to travel. I would have planned prom, helped with graduation, had lots of game nights with friends. And I would be planning lots of stuff for senior year since I'm the senior class president. I would have already taken the SAT and IDK what else, but I would have been so much happier. We were supposed to take our kids to Disney World in April. We've been saving and planning for that trip for 2 years. I was supposed to meet some friends from Europe who were coming over to take their kids to Disney World. Second time we've missed the chance to meet up in person. Wouldn't have had to leave my university. Would have gotten to spend 3 months with a guy that makes me really happy. Probably would have been my boyfriend at this point without COVID. Go to the San Diego County Fair 2 times, go to San Diego Comic Con all 4 days, see some movies in theaters, have more in-person DR appointments instead of phone appointments. Probably wouldn't have lost my best friend. It's like I barely know them anymore. And it makes me wonder if we were really best friends. In person. I think yes. But I never get reached out to. Nor do they reciprocate anything when I try to text them or show that I really care for them. It's so confusing. They leave for college tomorrow anyways. I have to wait another month. So in my head I guess we're not really anything anymore. I'm tired of reaching out first all the time like I'm playing Minesweeper. And with them meeting new people, I highly doubt they'll reach out. In the end, it was nice when I felt like I finally found someone who gets me and everything and vice versa. But then 2 months into the pandemic and boom, it's like whole other person. And to think at one point we were planning on going to Spain for a senior trip together. LMAOI. Saved up some money and planned on taking his first vacation with our son. Had the summer planned for stuff before he went into kindergarten. Update. We found him a used bike for his birthday and he is really proud of it. The summer still has another month it. Making the most of what is left of it. I had a big old lump of cash put aside for a cross-country USA trip via Fiji. Was gonna plan on visiting my family in the UK before heading back to Oz when I was done too. This is totally off now. But on the plus side, that chunk of money is also why I am able to get through all this mayhem. It's particularly fortuitous as my industry, kitchen work, is taking quite the hammering at the moment. I most likely would have continued to stay overweight, as I had much easier access to eating out and would use school as an excuse to not work out. With the COVID quarantine, the boredom actually led me to work out a lot more, which also led me to eating better. And I am happy to say I've lost 14 pounds from when I first started this 3 months ago. I'd be in Norway on vacation this very moment. I suppose the bright side of COVID is the huge amount of PTO I will have saved by next year. I was in the process of switching schools, so I had to miss the end of my last year there, and I'm missing the beginning of my year at the new school. If I had gotten those last months, I would have been able to say goodbye to all of my friends and have time to make new friends before I graduate this year. Defended my PhD in person. Walked at my graduation. Had my family at said graduation. Played softball weekly. Seen friends. Gone camping and hiking with friends. Gotten my car fixed. Probably would have a different job. Also, traveled to visit my dad and my BF's family. Probably wouldn't have lost as much weight though. I wouldn't have been dumped and gone into a 2.5 month depression due to being laid off. Same happened to me, bruh. I feel ya. Still struggling with anxiety and depression because of that and have not found a reliable support. I had plans for 7 festivals this year. Was going to take me all over the United States, seeing national parks and meeting amazing people and live music. I only got to go to 1 festival out of the bunch before everything shut down completely. However, I did wind up quitting my job and traveling across the country to national parks to just get the hell away from people. Haven't presented any symptoms. Avoided large groups of people and had a blast. On a side note, a lot of the states I went through turned south as soon as I left them. The exact same shit. Like, thank you for making staying home and avoiding people a cool thing to do. Yup. Quarantine just made everyone else cool with me not calling to hang out. Taken my daughter to the zoo much more. We had a pass but only got to go before she was even crawling. Now she's walking, waddling around, and we can't. Play dates. Nick. San Francisco. Vegas. My wife and I are opera singers. This year was our big breakout year. A good number of contracts with very reputable opera houses that would take us to the next level. We were gonna buy our house. All of our contracts for the next 18 months were cancelled, and we won't be singing anytime soon since most companies have closed. We've shifted careers at this point. Or at least start trying to. My side business wouldn't have collapsed. But I would still be working 50+ HRS week in my regular job in my regular office instead of working from home 90% of the time. So, while it is a financial burden right now, it's also a blessing in regard to life quality and making the reboot of my side business much easier in, hopefully, 2021. Had my family meet our new baby. Same. Instead of celebrating my now 4-month-old son with people who love him, I've cared for him on my own while my husband works on intensive care. I would have spent about 90 hours and about 3,000 miles pointlessly commuting to be in a dumb office building face to face with idiots that exhaust me. Since then, our jobs have been 100% productivity, remotely working from home. I understand the real issues this has caused for the vast majority of people. But for me personally, I am glad this has massively accelerated the world of telework and saved me so much time and heartache. I've seen my family more than ever before and been happier than ever not wasting my life at an office when it's unnecessary for the type of work. I'm a runner, so I would have participated in more races. Had an XC season. A longer outdoor season. Maybe won more medals. Edit. Yo, like the most upvotes I had gotten. Thanks. We runners are on the same boat. Let's hope everything goes back to normal soon. About the same I've been doing, except I would have lost 2 hours a day commuting to the office and had to pay more in parking and gas to actually go to the office. And I wouldn't have seen my 18-month-old as much in the last 4 months. It's been awesome being able to take a break and play with her for a bit during the day. Let's see. So senior trips, so prom, so graduation, so college visits, so work and save for college, so hang out with friends one last time. Shall I go on? Likely not have divorced from my wife. Is that good news or bad? I hope you're doing well through this life transition. Lol, if COVID never happened I'd still be depressed and a bum. I'm low-key grateful that it happened. Woke me up and made me realize how amazing life actually is and how stupid it was that I wasted my time and energy on things that never suited me. If it hadn't happened I'd be playing video games and smoking weed like a lazy bum. My husband would have been able to see our son get born. He has a cough caused by a stent in his throat that was put in for radiation treatments. He was supposed to get it removed, but all non-emergency procedures stopped for a while. He had the same cough my entire pregnancy and no one noticed it until COVID started getting bad. Occasionally he has coughing fits. Makes the people around him uncomfortable, and any cough now make nurses raise an eyebrow. He didn't want to have a coughing fit at the hospital with me and delivery, and the nurses put him out of the room and I deliver by myself. He sent my mom with me instead.